Am I the butthole for not telling my mom I own her house? My wife and I have been having a discussion and she finds it really weird that I'm keeping this secret. I bought a house prior to COVID and so during the lockdowns I was able to get some really cheap contracting done because people needed work. I got it fixed up to rent it out, not to my mom, but just anybody. When it became clear people were losing jobs, I didn't want to rent to a stranger just to kick them out, so I kept renovating at a slow pace just to keep the house on the ups. Fast forward. I find out my mom is being evicted for not paying rent. I refuse to send my mom money. I used to and it damn near made me broke. She has a gambling addiction and drinking problem. She lost her job. So I tell her I have a friend who owns a house one state over. With nothing to lose, she found a job out of state, applied with an agent I know out there who handled the beginning part, but really it's my house and she wouldn't have been approved otherwise. I rent it to her at below market rate, but enough to where I know she's not wasting all money on gambling and drinking. My brother and his son also live there. She didn't tell management that, go figure. So my wife is like, I want to go see the house. I tell her what I did and she doesn't seem to understand that I never told my mom it's my house and why. As soon as I tell her it's my house, she's going to go back to being irresponsible, and it's bad enough my brother is freeloading there too, but this is going to be a financial burden on us if we tell her. As of now, it's not because she thinks some company owns it. NTA, your mom has a serious problem and this is a great way to keep her from being homeless while keeping your own boundaries intact. I just hope you can get your GF to see it that way so she doesn't go spilling the beans behind your back or something. XD. Edit. Thanks for all the upvotes and the award. My wife doesn't talk to my mom. They do not get along, so this is a bonus for me in this matter, laughing out loud the one time it's been in my benefit. My wife typically handles all of the financials, that's her career outside of home too, so it's very typical for her to want to see a property after work is done because she's thinking profits, which I expect. But in this case I just have to get her to ignore the house and just pay the bills on it for me because quite frankly I don't know how to do all of that and keep track of it. In that case it would be a good idea to sit her down and lay the whole thing out for her along with what you expect to get out of it, just so you're on the same page. If she's used to handling all your finances, she may be a little hurt/feel like you went behind her back to do this. Obviously you have the right to do whatever with your own property, but married couples are supposed to be a team. Make sure your lines of communication stay open. Also document. I would not be surprised if she starts rent shenanigans when she finds out it is your property. She already got evicted for non-payment of rent and she already moved additional tenants without informing anyone. If you don't want your brother there, can you have the management tell her they aren't approved and have to go? I don't think original post cares his brother is there, just that him being there and not telling the landlord about it shows us what his mother is like. It's bad enough my brother is freeloading there too, does care. It's a statement of fact, not necessarily concerned that the brother's there in general. Is there ever a time to use the word freeloading without being judgmental? I've never known anyone who didn't use it in this way. Particularly when combined with it's bad enough. I stand by my statement. That being, to clarify for the other commenter, that none of us know Op's feelings behind these words he's chosen to use. So to claim outright one way without prejudice is a bit silly and unfair. You've certainly seen entire threads go off on wild assumptive claims based off original posts, not commenting in that particular thread but clarifying elsewhere in the post. Yeah, they can roll their eyes and have an opinion about their brother without it being a big enough deal to make him want to blow the whole thing up over one more thing that is in character for his family. As the LL, it's Op's business that additional people are living in the house. I think he was telling us to let us know how little respect mom has for usual rules of renting and what kind of tenant she is without knowing her son is the LL and feeling like she can relax. When I say it as a description of my family, it's more resignation than judgment. English is not my first language, but as I understand it, it means that he knows that his brother is a freeloading, but his mom is inside the house. It will not matter if brother is there too. However, if mom finds out that it's his house, brother will too, and hell will break loose. One thing is his freeloading brother and mom needing to work to pay rent, another is two people that don't want to pay for rent destroying his property. I read it as it's bad enough my brother is freeloading there too, because my mom struggles with addiction and has enough strain on her resources without him freeloading more than not wanting him to live there. I think if he was contributing original post wouldn't care. Op wants his family to be safe and secure. We are in a pandemic. Knowing your family is doing well can alleviate all sorts of anxiety. If original post owns the house and doesn't mind, then let it happen. Of course, this is me assuming that original post isn't a bullcrap landlord who takes whatever money they can get from renters. NTA It's mutually beneficial for you and for your mom as it stands currently. You have a renter, she makes more responsible choices and keeps a roof over her head. That being said, be prepared for this to blow up in your face if she ever finds out you are the homeowner. That's what my wife is saying. She's like, you know she's going to have a crap fit when she figures it out. All she has to do is get wise and look at the damn property taxes. For me, at least I have a few months. I hope. Sounds like it's a bad situation no matter how she finds out. Let it ride. Nothing to gain otherwise. Why would she look at the property taxes? Well, we get notices from the county where we live in the mail from time to time, especially if there's any changes. It's like automated, I think. I really don't handle any of that, but my wife said she'll call over to the county to make sure no mail or utility bills by a city are sent to the property and are sent to us instead. Haha, your wife is smart, you're probably lucky you told her. Yeah, I appreciate that she thinks it's not the best idea, but is still making sure it works. Shows mutual respect and good teamwork. Absolutely. I have crafty parents too, a partner who stands with you in dealing with them no matter what is number one in keeping those arm's length relationships functional. This is going to blow up in your face at some point, but I love you so I'll see what I can do. Sign of a smart partner. This is hands down the best comment, haha. Go to the county assessor/tax collector and change your mailing address for your property tax bill. You can do that. It may be a process, but it's easy enough to do. I can't imagine how it wouldn't be possible to mail the property taxes of a rented property to somewhere else. Hell, I can imagine being able to set a mailing address for my property tax to wherever I want, even if I do live there. Yeah, we rented out our old house after we moved a few years back, and our property tax bill comes to our new place. It's definitely something doable. After all, the local government wants their tax money, so they have to know where to find you. I'm more confused by bills going to the rented property in the first place ever after it was bought by them, laughing out loud like, why would they ever send bills to a place they didn't live in and were hoping to rent out? I work for a utility, and sometimes the answer is the new hire accidentally deleted the mailing address and didn't realize it, or possibly, we updated to a new software system and there was a conversion error. So it defaults to the service address. It's obviously not great, but crap happens. You can also put the house into an LLC, if you haven't already, that has a registered agent that is not you or your wife and has a totally innocuous address. Not the butthole edit, just read that you have it in an LLC that is you name. Change that crap fast. Something innocuous. People have lots of LLCs. Delaware also allows you to register anonymous LLCs. Wyoming is even better for that, and the fees are lower too. Do Wyoming. It's way cheap to register an LLC and the only information required is a company name and a registered agent in the state, to accept legal notices on your behalf. There are registered agent companies you can use if you don't know anyone in Wyoming. They can usually change the name using a DBA, doing business as, which is essentially Ops Name LLC is doing business as this property is not owned by your Sun Home Rentals. Then, the name is essentially changed. It sounds like your wife is a smart lady and on board with keeping this secret to protect your financial situation. My property taxes are sent to my mailing address, not my physical address. I live at my physical address but prefer not to receive mail here. It was no problem to get the county to use my mailing address for the bills. Seriously, I've rented in at least 6 different places in the past decade. I've never once seen my landlord's taxes. Maybe there is a way to look it up, but I never have. And I'm sure that 99.9% of renters never went out of their way to look up their landlord's property taxes. Why would she look at the taxes? Any companies you go through for mortgage, taxes, etc. should be sending stuff to your actual mailing address, since you don't live in that building, so it wouldn't even show up? I mean, she could Google it, I guess, but why would she want to? She's a renter. As long as maintenance is kept up, she's really got no good reason to go looking. I bought the house outright and didn't forward anything. My friend has been checking the mail for us because we're out of state. But my wife says she will be changing all mailing addresses now that she knows what I did. So your wife is changing the address, your wife is taking care that no bills are sent out. Top of your to-do list should be an apology to your wife for not including her in this from the start. It sounds like, even though your wife doesn't understand why you did this, she is willing to support your decisions regarding your family and actively help you out then. That is a good partner. NTA, and neither is your wife. Only your mom for eroding your trust this much in the first place. If you're buying investment properties, doing stuff like making sure all your business mail comes to the right address is just, like, standard good business practice. I'm annoyed at you on your wife's behalf that you let that slide. Your tenants aren't going to give a crap about making sure your mail gets delivered to you if you're sharing a mailbox, they're going to throw it away. Your wife is awesome. You owe her a back rub and, once the virus is back under control, a good night out at the least. NTA, crap could get weird with rent really quickly if your mom knew. You best do something very nice for your wife. Do something now and then something really nice once COVID has calmed down a bit. And thank her profusely for covering your butt. Aren't you incorporated? Your mom doesn't seem like the type to go too in depth, so if the house is owned by Real Estate Holdings LLC, it might hold up. If you're worried she'll recognize your company, set up a new holding company just to own her house as an asset. Well, the LLC name is our last name, Developments, LLC. Lol, that's a dead giveaway. I wasn't expecting to do this, or I would have done better. My wife is updating mailing address for utilities and taxes, so hopefully nothing has gone to the house as of yet. We have everything online for the most part, but as my wife pointed out, we do get random notices and updates about county decisions on taxes from to time, but they go to our P.O. box, so I never noticed. Probably why I should have let my wife know what I was up to prior. You absolutely should have told your wife from the start. Based on your comments, you expect a big dramatic fallout with serious financial burdens, but assumed your wife would be okay with it. It is a serious lie of omission, especially since she already had you cut your mom off once before. She has reasonably pointed out that discovery is inevitable and is now covering for you. She has every right to be upset over being kept out of the loop and seems to be handling it surprisingly well. You were a major to your wife. You put your relationship with your exploitive mother above your relationship with your wife, and it is amazing to me that she isn't more upset. Exactly. Geez, I'm surprised his wife hasn't had a crap fit about this. I would have. His wife sounds like a saint, and yet he says she rules the finances with an iron fist because she won't give his mom cash anymore? What is that? I wondered. How about transferring it to a new holding company now? Then if it comes up, claim you used to own it but sold it to new holding co, and any tax bills are to the new owner? I suppose it depends how much you want to out and out lie. Just set up mail forwarding through USPS. Any mail in your name or the LLC's name addressed to the rental house will automatically get redirected to your home address, without ever making a pit stop at the rental. You can register a fictitious name under an LLC. I have 2 different businesses under mine, because of branding differences. I know it depends on the state, but check the laws in your area. Time to set up a LLC with your friend listed as the contact person and the P.O. box address, if you think she'd look it up on the assessor's website. Your mom doesn't sound like the wise type. I expect you'll be able to keep this up for a long time as long as your wife doesn't tell her. That being said, be prepared for this to blow up in your face if she ever finds out you are the homeowner. Also, what are you going to do if they stop paying rent? Cause massive damages? You going to sue them? Just handing her rent money every week probably would be a far more secure financial decision for you. It might at least get everyone through the pandemic at least. Though be warned, you may have to evict her eventually. This is easily fixed. Switch the title to an LLC. I think you're not the butthole for renting to your mom without telling her. Like another commenter said, it's the perfect solution to keep her out of the streets without throwing money into a black hole. However, Why is it that it took your wife asking about the house for you to tell her about all of this? Aren't you partners? It's a bit weird to me that you never mentioned you were moving your mom into the house you've been renovating. Edit. Judgment. My wife knew my mom moved in, but she didn't know I made it seem like our friends, the realtor company, owned it. I didn't tell my wife the full plan because I didn't think it would matter. Honestly. She is kind of annoyed that I didn't tell her, but overall she really just thinks it's going to backfire. I think NTA, but just a little maybe, because open communication with your awesome sounding wife would be way better. But you sound like you're doing well. Keep her around. Buddy communication is key to a great marriage, and no matter how small and insignificant it may seem to you, won't be to others and your spouse. Think of it as this: what if she has a secret too that doesn't seem like a big deal? Sure, you probably won't be bothered by it too much, but it will gnaw at you because she thought it wasn't a big deal, but you're hurt because she didn't let you know. Now times that feeling by 10 because she's goddamn in charge of the finances and she's wondering where the F-some, if not the majority of that, went. So if I were your wife in this situation, I would be annoyed that you didn't tell me. To her, it might come off like you don't trust her, which is hurtful. It doesn't push you into butthole territory, but I'd apologize to the wife and explain that you weren't trying to hide things from her. I agree with your wife. But I understand why you have to try this for your mom. I hope it works for a good long while. NTA. I think you are NTA, but all this is going to do is delay the freeloading phase. When she figures it out, she will stop paying. And all your other relatives will call you because you charged her at all. You are not, but they will say it. All I can say is your heart is in the right place, and please run your schemes through your wife first. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.